Now, I want to tell you a story about a cork, and I'm going to kind of throw myself under the bus here because I went back to the story about the story about the story when it came to this cork. About 2 years ago, my business exploded. I was in terrible town. It's everything I wanted, but I was overwhelmed, I was stressed, I had so much going on, and I didn't know how to handle it. It's almost like how you feel about your kitchen and your pantry right now. I didn't know where to start, and I needed help, much like you do. So what I had to do is I had to call in an expert. So I had a friend named Selena Gray, who's a business coach, and I called Selena and I said, I need your help. Much like you call us to get help, or you get the how-to course that you just bought. She took huge stick-it notes and she put all of the titles of the categories that were bothering me about my business and put all the problems into the categories, much like we do, or much like you're going to do in your kitchen. We rip it apart, just like you're gonna rip it apart, and you're gonna categorize it or put it into towns. That's what Selena did. She categorized it and put it into towns. So she put all of the titles of the problem areas of the business on these sticky notes so that I could start to breathe again. So we went through all of the categories and we started to dissect it. We started to rip it apart, cross off things that weren't important, circle things that were important, just like you're gonna do in your house when you declutter. You're gonna get rid of things, you're gonna keep things, you're gonna trash things, you're gonna make decisions. That's what Selena and I did. And I started feeling lighter and lighter and lighter, just like you are. So at the end of the night, I felt awesome about my business. I'd gone from terrible town to awesome town because I was ready to take action and I was ready to move forward, just like you will when you finish this course and you go through all the steps. So at the end of the night, Selena opened a bottle of champagne. Now, I don't usually even drink champagne, but I drank champagne with her. She was driving. I ended up drinking 3/4 of the bottle, and I can tell you that was the best champagne I've had ever. It was cool going down my throat. I loved the taste of it. It was just sweet enough, and it was called Rich, which I loved because ultimately we're in business for a reason, and I wanted to have success, but I was super stuck. So I drank most of the bottle of champagne. Selena went home, and I went to bed. Now here comes in the story about the cork. In the morning, I woke up. I came into the kitchen like I always do. The champagne bottle was empty. I put it into the recycle bin because that's where it goes. It was done. And I picked up the cork and I didn't know what to do. I stopped and I started to go down the 7 reasons why to keep something. I thought, this cork is so important. That was such a big night. I think I'm gonna take this pen and I'm gonna write her name on it and I'm gonna write the date and I'm gonna put it up on my shelf so that I can see it. So what was happening is I was starting to attach the evening or the event or the item to the emotion. The emotion was in my heart. The progress had been made. I didn't need the cork. But for you, if you have a cork town and you have somewhere to put the corks, that's fine. But I don't have a cork town. But what I started to do was attach the evening to the cork. I didn't want to be wasteful. I didn't know what to do. I thought, well, maybe I can use it again. But I couldn't. It was splayed. I couldn't even put it back into a bottle. So that was a silly reason to keep it. I thought, this is a bottle of champagne called Rich. Maybe if I put it up on my mantle and people see the word rich, they're going to assume that I'm more successful than I am. All of these silly reasons why to hang on to it. It was expensive. What if I can't afford to buy a bottle of champagne like that again? I better keep it. What was happening was I was going down the road of all of the reasons why we want to keep things instead of asking the 3 questions. So I thought, you know what? You don't have a cork town. Just throw it out. So I threw it out, I went about my day, I started to make breakfast, and about 10 minutes later, my brain went back to it. And it said, you need that cork. You need to hang on to the cork. That was a really good memory. And I pulled it out of the garbage, and it had coffee grinds all over it, and I started to get all attached to the cork again. I started to attach my value, my beliefs, my business, everything with this cork. But what I really needed to do was think about the 3 questions that took 3 seconds that would keep clutter out of my life. Do I love this cork? No, I don't love this cork. I have a picture of Selena and I and the cork. I don't need the cork. Will I use the cork? No, I won't use the cork because it's splayed and I can't even use it again. Would I go and buy this cork at a store? No. So it was easy. I threw the cork in the garbage and I didn't look back. I didn't have to think about it because of those 3 questions. My neuro pathway was formed to the 3 questions. My mind was made up and it was easy. That's what'll happen when you know those 3 questions. You'll know what to ask yourself and you won't go back and you won't self-doubt. But when you don't know those questions, you tell yourself the story about the story about the story of why to keep it. But at first, you're going to fall back into the reasons why to keep it instead of looking at the reasons why to let it go. So those 3 questions, remember them, and you will virtually eliminate clutter in your life. We know from the cork story that you need to be laser focused with those 3 questions. So let's move on to the next module where the fun starts. I promise. I'm here for you and we're doing this together. We are going to take everything out because your brain doesn't want to make a decision until you have all of the evidence in front of you. Let's go.